Hello, welcome back everyone, this is Chaos Mirage. Welcome back to this Persona 4 Arena Ultimax blind playthrough. Alright. I think we're at Chie's story. We still haven't finished it, I believe. Yeah, Chie's at chapter 14. Which actually surprised because Kanji's finished at chapter 10. Scene 10, whatever. And Chie's basically ended when I jump out to chase Akahiko. But then I decided to stay and see where her story goes if you don't leave the school. And she winds up fighting Teddy. So I thought, hey, maybe after Teddy, then that's done. Like when her shadow showed up, I thought that'll be it. But like, it just keep going. She actually fought her shadow, and Kanji's story ended when his shadow showed up. So like, Chie actually fought her shadow before like the story paused. So like, I think I just beat her shadow, and I don't know where like the story, where else the story is gonna go from here.
I won.
Having managed to calm my raging shadow, I turned back to the other two girls. I was able to protect them, right?
What was that all about? Oh yeah. I'm really sorry I doubted you.
Richie-san quickly explained what just happened to the shaken girl. How in this world your repressed inner selves, your shadow, separate from you. How appear in the form of your other self and tries all sort of tricks to try and take the real person's place. Then again, in my case, I had experienced that once already, and I should have been okay. Looks like I did it again.
So the real cause of this is actually me, a shadow, a repressed self. I'm not surprised it hasn't registered. It is coming from left field for you.
I'm bad at explaining things. After all, only someone smarter like Nato-kun is here right now. She's able to explain things a whole lot better. But that's what's important isn't the girl understanding that happened, that I have to accept my shadow once more.
What the?
Alright.
I thought I eliminated any possibility of her heart breaking free. Did you not suffer enough? No. I did everything right.
The light suddenly drops, plunging the room into darkness. A voice echoes through the gloom. The voice is not my shadow. What new war's going on?
Teddy?
I realized that fake Teddy was actually standing in the room without us noticing him. Huh? Where'd my shadow go then?
I get it. She was pretending to be General Teddy this whole time. Am I right?
Looks like you'll be alone forever. No one can understand you.
Huh?
It might look like Teddy again. The tone of voice, the way to speak, nothing like the Teddy could say. What he's saying is a bit weird too. Maybe he's not actually talking to me. Could he be talking to this other girl? What could this mean?
Are you still going to keep deluding yourself?
Delude? Whoa, wait a sec. Aren't you supposed to be my shadow? No, that shadow, it's resonating with Miss President. What?
I'll show you.
Turn the events perplexing. The fake Teddy smirks and snaps his finger. Alright, we don't need to see this again.
I am a shadow. The true self.
No way. That's the other girl's face. That's her shadow? She cries out, apparently shocked over seeing the shadow's robotic limbs. What's going on?
Wait, does this mean it was this girl's shadow all along?
That's right. And like you just saw, I can distort people's appearances and words.
It distorted people's appearance and words. So was it just talking to Teddy from this whole time? And she was making my friends say things that they didn't mean? That was the shadow too. Shadow smirks with a perplexing look on my
Why do you
face.
think I have such power? It's because I'm her and she's me. That's right. She's the real liar here.
Don't be ridiculous. I didn't lie.
Oh, please. Just look at me. I look exactly like you.
That's not true.
The Shadow draws closer, making a point to show her body. She has a mechanical body with large wing-like metallic parts jutting from her back. These wings turn into giant axes that the Shadow grabs from the air. The girl looks away as they try to find a way out. I take this opportunity to speak up.
Don't worry. There's no need to be scared. That's just a twisted version of you. Shadows try to make the original person deny them. It'll be okay, but you need to calm down.
A twisted version of her? She's the one that's twisted. You still refuse to remember? Look at me. And stop deluding yourself.
The Shadow snaps her fingers. What's it going to turn into now? I brace myself for the Shadow change. I didn't expect what happens next. The Shadow doesn't change, but the girl does. Her arms quickly change right before our eyes. Her hands turn pale and smooth, become something inhuman. In seconds, she turns into her shadow.
Miss President, what is this? Another illusion? I don't think so. I knew something was weird when I first sensed her.
Okay, so if that's her true form and her human form is just like an illusion we're seeing, how is her axe not like wing axe whatever not bump into like everybody?
That girl. No! Don't look at me!
She tries to hide her body from him. She can't hide everything. The Shadow sneers even more. The girl curls up on the floor, then spins the axe as it taunts her. Even though the Shadow has the same face as her, seeing her wield such a giant chunk of metal so effortlessly only shows how monstrous she really is. The Shadow brandishes the axe in her hand without hesitation. That's when... Oh, Kanji! Kanji bursting through the wall. Where is this story going? Why is Chie's story so weird? It looks more like he's thrown through it. He isn't moving an inch.
Kanji, you came to save us! Or not.
It's no use, he's completely unconscious. A voice I've heard somewhere before comes through the other side of the new hole in the wall.
You must be Labras.
Oh! Okay.
You're that red cape guy from before!
Sure enough, the owner of that voice is the guy in red kid. He steps into the room, brushing dust from his shoulders. Is he the one that blasts Kanji in here? Then is he an enemy? I take defensive position, but he ignores me instead of fixing his gaze on the girl and her shadow.
Labras. Fine. I'll just calm them both down.
He smirks confidently and raises his fist. Who's Labras? Is that this girl's name? It seems he knows who she is. Who is this guy? Okay, to be continued. Cool. Alright, okay. Interesting. Alright. Alright. Finally. Been waiting for this. Time to go to Mitsuru's story. We're gonna do like 1 or 2 chapters of Mitsuru. Then we're going to try her training mode. Let's start her story. Right now, all of the story we've seen is basically based on the Persona 4 casts. This is the first Persona 3 cast we're doing. It seems like the only 3 Persona 3 characters in this one, at least in the original game, is Mitsuru, Akihiko, and Aigis. Late November in the year 2010. The darkness fell without warning. At the same time, the previously busy examination room fell into silent. Adam Nant's ear hurt.
Hey, what happened?
He called towards the back of the room, but no answer came. After working for public safety for over a decade, he thought little could face him anymore. But this was uncomfortably alien. It was no ordinary blackout. If it were, the faint light from the machines running on battery power, such as cell phones, would remain. But the silence disturbed him even more. He hadn't heard so much as a single cry. As he looked around, he saw a spot of darkness. Something was giving off an eerie glow, as they painted an incandescent pigments. Oh! Once his eye began to adjust into darkness, he was able to faintly make out the area that had the light. The shine spots revealed as a small, strangely decorated box, one that the man only just delivered to the forensics unit.
Forensics team! What the hell is...
He called out, still screaming at the shadow of a person who could see the window before him. But as the shape resolved, he saw it was not a person's shadow at all. He had no word to describe it. At first glance, it seemed to be a coffin. Are we going back to the Persona 3 stories? Because I'm pretty sure after the at the end of Persona 3, the midnight hour is like gone. The missing hour is gone, and like people turning into coffins are not a thing anymore. So like, is this when the Persona 3 is still happening? What's going on here? Indeed, that's what it was shaped like. Never seen a coffin standing upright, towers on a doubt, shining like a dark crystal. Yet there was clearly a crystallized mass was skirting in the spot of the window clerk normally stood. A closer examination, it wasn't the only one. The desk in front of the evidence shelf next to the reference computer, they jumped towards everywhere, as it was had taken the place of humans. A chill ran down the man's spine. They're people. Was the thought that instant ATSD come to mind? Was this the reason he couldn't hear anyone else's voice? Was it because everyone but him was...
What's going on?
Once the fear set in, it wasn't easy to shake him off. His familiar office was starting to look like a grotesque netherworld. He felt quite sure that he had to get out quickly. He turned and grabbed the knob on the door through which he had just entered, but didn't budge. Wasn't the doors locked, preventing the knob from turning the ledge? The knob was completely frozen in place.
Is anyone here? Hey, let me out!
The man slammed his fist against the door, yelling in desperation. But the sensation he felt in the first impact of the surface wasn't that hitting the door. It felt completely at odds with what he saw. A picture of a door had been drawn into a solid wall. It was then the man noticed another light, similar in the color to the emanating from the box. Could be seen the part of his hand as he swung it forward. It was a ring, and suddenly he remembered. When he brought the small box, he found several bizarre ring-shaped objects within it. While handing it over to forensic, he suspected that they might be rings. To check the theory, he put one on, and now the ring is emanating the same eerie light as the box. Okay, so he is not a Persona user. He somehow like remained conscious in the midnight. I forgot what they called it exactly in Persona 3. It's been so long since I played that game. Like in Persona 3, there's basically 25 hours a day. Like there's 1 hour that's missing, and everybody turns into coffins and shadows come out. So he only Persona users can stay a human and use the Persona to fight shadows. He is not a Persona user. He just has a ring that lets him walk around in the midnight hour. Though he still has no idea what's going on, he immediately appeared directly related to the current situation. Man grabbed the ring as a sweat-soaked finger and tugged, ready to pull his own finger if necessary, but just unopened.
Right now.
What?
The man can't help but gasp. He looked around. He could sense no one inside the room with him. Where had the voice came from?
Rescue you shortly. Calm yourself and wait there.
It's Mitsuru. When Nemesis calmed himself, he realized that he wasn't just a voice. The sensation was indescribable, but it was distantly unlike hearing with one's ear.
Pardon me. This is Mitsuru Kiriju. We met earlier.
Kiriju. He didn't know Kiriju. It was she who brought the strange small box. And wasn't all he knew. The Kiriju was a wicked family who used their fortune and influence as a shield, a constant frustration to the police. Despite that, the man couldn't help but be relieved to wash over him. Perhaps he might survive this after all.
Well, I appreciate the help. Just hurry.
After getting the mother word out, he sunk to the floor, the door at his back. Mitsuru Kiriju, if he recalled correctly, she was the eldest daughter of the Kiriju group funding family. He noticed that her voice has been far calmer than his, despite the situation they were both in. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. She is not in the same situation as you. He says a measure of trustworthiness from her, and to think it had been merely an hour ago that he was asking himself why such a young girl had been chosen to head the Kiriju group at all. The digital clock corner of the desk quietly announced the arrival at 10 o'clock in the morning. Normally, most of the staff would be out and about, but the entire police department was in turmoil today. It was only to be expected was a key figure of the Kiriju group visiting on unusual business. Wait, are we? Oh yeah, okay, so we are traveling back in time. The Kiriju group is a major trading firm, synonymous with Japan. They had links to area business, not a day could go by in the city without hearing their name. The clocks that had struck 10 bore logo Kiriju Electronics, and the KJ was carrier cell phone provided every member of the force. Yeah, it's like in Persona 3, there's one of the review is their entire city was basically built by the Kiriju group. Maybe that's the school they were at. I'm pretty sure it's the entire city. Although we don't know where they are at this point, right? Like, this might be Tokyo, this might be Inaba, this might be somewhere else. We don't know where. Well, probably not Inaba. We don't know where this is. A few days ago, it's the same Kiriju group that made seemingly insane proposal. The document was hundreds of pages, but a brief summary could be: we wish to cooperate with the police on the official department of eliminating monsters.
That does happen from time to time. Famous businessmen end up advocating cultish nonsense in pursuit of their ambitions.
Upon consideration, it was decided the Kiriju group should be invited to give them their pitch. Of course, there was no intention of spending tax money on outlandish proposals. The police said on humoring Kiriju group lay elsewhere. The Kiriju group had often an incentive whereby if the police agreed to meeting them, they could provide a detailed list of the ergonomic research lab to do other facts as well as actual samples. As this drove the officer's decision, there had been dark rumors abandoned about the Kiriju group over the last 10 years. As a family-run business, some of that old man Kiriju developed into a paranormal research and was performing human experiments. The police collected enough evidence to test the rumor, had prepared many times to force an investigation. Every time the investigation come to nothing due to the group exerting hidden pressure, frustrating those working on the case to no end. The investigation prime target was the finished Echo Reach, the Kiriju research lab to do exposing Kirju's dark hidden dark side has been dream of public safeties for 10 years now, and now Kirju seems to willing to hand over the research tightly guarded secrets on the silver platter. No one knew the reason they set them about, but either did anyone think to turn them down. They agreed to summon not to hear out whatever proposal Kiriju was offering, but to stepping into unearthing their past crimes. Time passed and never mind. Time passed and agreed on time around the afternoon came. The man was afternoon, so this is 10 p.m. The man was tasked to watch over the brain artifact from the Kiriju group, but though he could not speak of the guest, please plan to afford him the major responsibility. Wanted to give him something like a leading role. Wasn't long before the Kiriju car arriving at the underground port. Due to the staff there received the guest only shucked a long black limousine that could have turned heads of the main road. One of the youngest recruit looks towards the man and asks her a question.
What's with that car?
And I was the least surprised in the store. Then the Korean group representative stepped out of the limousine. She was revealed to be a beautiful young woman, no older than a university student. Not only that, but she had attendance dress in that could only be described as maid uniforms. All of them were young women, roughly her age. The scene Unrise versus Digital presents a great
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am Mitsuru Kirijo, representing the Kirijo group. It's nice to meet you.
Brace greeting, leading pose. Yeah, I need some water.